Once upon a time, in the quiet village of Oboligu, there lived a poor man named Okoro. Okoro was a palm wine tapper. Every morning before the sun rose, he would climb tall palm trees with his ropes and calabash, tapping sweet wine to sell in the market. His hands were rough, and his legs were full of scars from many years of climbing. But Okoro never complained. He was a quiet man, known for minding his own business. Okoro had only one child. A daughter. Her name was Chioma. She was beautiful like the early morning sun and kind like her late mother. Chioma was the reason Okoro smiled every day. Since his wife Adeobi died during childbirth, Okoro had raised Chioma alone. She was everything. His light. His reason to live. Their house was small. Just one room with a leaking roof. The floor was bare earth, and when it rained, water entered from under the door. But Okoro never cared. He would always say, "As long as Chioma is safe, I am rich." Every evening, Okoro would return from the bush with his calabashes full of palm wine. He would call out, "Chioma, my star, come and help your papa." Chioma would run out smiling, wearing her old wrapper and bare feet, to collect the calabashes and wash his feet. They would sit under the mango tree and eat roasted yam together. It was their little tradition. The villagers respected Okoro for how he raised his daughter alone, but they also mocked him for being poor. "How can a man still live in a mud house in this time?" some would whisper. But Okoro didn't care. He always said, "Let them talk. I am not hungry, and my daughter is happy." Chioma helped him in every way. She fetched water, swept the compound, and even followed him to the bush sometimes to watch him tap palm wine. She was only 14, but she was smart and gentle. The village women loved her. They often told Okoro, "Your daughter is too beautiful, oh. You must protect her." But something strange was about to happen. One day, Okoro climbed a new palm tree deep in the forest. It was taller than the rest. As he tied his rope and climbed, he noticed something strange at the top, a small wooden carving nailed to the tree. It looked like a face, with sharp teeth and red eyes. Okoro paused. "What is this?" he whispered. He wanted to climb back down, but he remembered he needed more wine to sell at the market. He ignored the carving, cut the palm, and fixed his calabash. That night, things changed. When Okoro returned home, Chioma didn't come out to greet him. He called, "Chioma, Chioma," but there was no answer. He entered the house and saw her sitting on the floor, her eyes open wide, staring into nothing. "Chioma, what is it?" he asked, dropping his calabashes. But she didn't speak. She just sat there, shaking. Okoro's heart began to pound. What happened to his only daughter? He didn't know. The carving on the tree had followed him home. Okoro stood still. His hands trembled as he stared at Chioma. She was not blinking. Her body was cold, her face blank. He bent down and touched her shoulder gently. "Chioma, my daughter. Talk to me," he whispered. No answer. He touched her cheek. Still no response. Tears filled his eyes. He shook her lightly. "Chioma, what is it? Are you sick? Did something bite you?" Chioma slowly turned her head. Her neck cracked as if her bones were stiff. She looked at her father, but her eyes were no longer normal. They were slightly red, and her pupils had turned small, like a cat's. Okoro jumped back. "My Chioma, what is happening to you?" Suddenly, Chioma opened her mouth wide and let out a strange sound, a low growl that didn't sound human. Then she smiled. But it was not her normal smile. It was cold. Evil. "I'm fine, Papa," she said, her voice deep and slow. Okoro froze. That voice was not Chioma's. He began to shake. "Yezu. Yezu. Chioma. This is not you." But Chioma stood up calmly and walked past him like nothing had happened. She went outside and fetched water, humming a song that sounded like an ancient war chant. Okoro stood in the doorway, confused and terrified. That night, he couldn't sleep. He lit a lantern and sat close to her while she pretended to sleep. He watched her chest rise and fall, but something about her body looked different. Her skin was darker than before. Her hair looked longer. Even her breathing was not the same. Okoro remembered the carving on the palm tree. The red eyes. The sharp teeth. "Did I touch something I was not supposed to touch?" he whispered. He got up and went to the corner where he kept his old Bible. He hadn't opened it in years. But that night, he sat beside Chioma and began to pray. "Father Lord, anything that is not of you in this house, let it go back to where it came from." As he prayed, Chioma turned in her sleep and began to mutter in a strange language. Words he had never heard before. He stopped praying. His body went cold. The next morning, he went to visit Mama Nena, an old herbalist woman who lived near the stream. She was known for treating sicknesses the hospital could not explain. He told her everything, how he found the carving on the tree, how Chioma changed, how she now had strange eyes. Mama Nena listened quietly. When he finished, she stood up and went inside her hut. She came out with a dusty old calabash tied with red and black threads. "You climbed the cursed tree," she said softly. "That face you saw is the Ekwensu idol. It's forbidden. Anyone who disturbs it brings a spirit home with them." Okoro gasped. "What should I do?" Mama Nena looked into his eyes and said, "If it has entered your daughter, it must be removed quickly. Or it will take full control. And when that happens..." She paused. "Your daughter will no longer be your daughter." Okoro fell to the ground. "No, not my Chioma." He held his chest and cried like a baby. But it was just the beginning. The Ekwensu spirit had only just arrived. Okoro left Mama Nena's house with shaking legs. She had given him a small calabash filled with bitter herbs, black powder, and red earth. "Place it under her bed," she had said. "Burn the herbs at midnight. Do not say a word while it burns, or the spirit will hear you." Okoro returned home just before sunset. Chioma was outside, plucking leaves from the ogu plant. She smiled as he entered the compound. But that smile again, it was too wide, too strange. Like something was wearing her face. He greeted her. "Chioma, how are you today?" "I'm happy, Papa," she said. "Very happy. The trees told me today would be special." Okoro felt his spine turn cold. He went inside the house, placed the calabash under her bamboo bed, and waited. That night, at midnight, when the cock crowed once, Okoro lit the herbs and sat beside the small fire. Smoke filled the room. It smelled bitter and strange, like firewood mixed with something rotten. Chioma was asleep. Or so he thought. Suddenly, she sat up straight, eyes closed, but talking. "Papa, you went to see the old woman," she said in a deep, unrecognizable voice. "Why?" Okoro's mouth opened slightly, but he remembered Mama Nena's warning, "Don't speak." Chioma stood up slowly. Her feet dragged, her arms hung stiff. "I told you. I'm fine, Papa. But you don't believe me." Her eyes opened. Glowing red. Her lips moved, but the voice that came out was not hers. "You climbed my tree," the voice said. "You disturbed my home." Okoro's heart raced. He shut his eyes tight and whispered in his mind, "God, help me. Protect my daughter." Chioma suddenly screamed and fell to the ground. The fire went out. The room was silent. Then, crying, Chioma sobbed on the floor. Her voice was her own again. "Papa, what is happening to me?" Okoro rushed to her side and held her. "It's okay, Chioma. I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you. But deep inside, he was breaking. The next day, he returned to Mama Nena. She spoke in a voice that was not hers, he said. She knew I came to you. Mama Nene nodded slowly. The spirit has joined with her. You must act fast, Okoro. If it completes the joining, she will be gone. Okoro knelt. What should I do? Mama Nene gave him 3 things. A white chalk to draw on Chioma's forehead at dawn. A black soap made with ash and goat blood for her to bathe in. And a cowrie tied with red string to place under her pillow. Do it tonight, she said. Do not fail. But while Okoro was gone, something happened at home. Chioma had gone to the back of the compound to fetch water. The sky was cloudy. As she dipped her bowl into the pot, she heard whispers. Voices. Soft, like wind. Then, from the forest, a tall dark figure walked slowly into the compound. Its body was like smoke, but its eyes glowed red. It didn't speak. It only stood there, staring at her. Chioma dropped the bowl. She screamed. But no one heard. Chioma stood frozen. The dark figure with red eyes didn't move. It only stared. She tried to run, but her legs refused to move. It was as if the ground held her feet in place. The wind howled, and the trees around the compound began to bend unnaturally, like they were bowing to the strange presence. The figure took one slow step forward. Then another. As it got closer, Chioma noticed its feet one touching the ground. Her lips trembled. Who are you? The spirit didn't answer. Instead, it raised a long finger and pointed at her. Suddenly, Chioma fell to her knees. Her eyes rolled back. She began to shake, foam coming out from the corner of her mouth. Her whole body trembled like leaves in a storm. Then, silence. The spirit vanished into thin air. Just then, Okoro returned from Mama Nena's place, holding the ritual items tightly in his hands. As he stepped into the compound, he saw Chioma lying still by the water pot. Chioma, he screamed and ran to her. He dropped the soap, the chalk, and the cowrie on the ground. He lifted her gently. Chioma, talk to me. She opened her eyes slowly. Her pupils were white, not red. Not black. Just empty. I am cold, she whispered. Okoro wrapped her with his wrapper and carried her inside. He didn't know what else to do. He had to act fast. Mama Nena said tonight. He had to begin the cleansing before midnight. That night, the sky was dark. No stars. No moon. Inside the small house, Okoro tied a red cloth on his head and made Chioma sit on a low stool. She looked weak. Her hands shook. Her eyes remained white. He dipped the black soap in water and gently washed her body, starting from her head. He recited the words Mama Nene taught him, evil that does not belong, return to your home. Spirit of the dark, release this child. As he poured the water on her feet, Chioma screamed. Her scream was loud, painful, and deep. It didn't sound like one voice, it sounded like many. The roof creaked. The lamp flickered. Wind entered the room even though the windows were shut. Then Chioma began to speak in tongues. Not the holy kind. But strange, frightening ones. Her voice shifted, first high, then deep, then like a man's voice. You cannot take her from us, the voice shouted. Okoro cried, but he continued the washing. He used the white chalk to draw a cross on her forehead, chanting louder. Leave her now. This is her father's house. Suddenly, the fire from the lamp burst, poof, and darkness filled the room. Okoro couldn't see a thing. But he could hear Chioma breathing, or something breathing with her. He felt movement around him, like many legs crawling on the walls. Then he heard Chioma's voice. But it was soft again. Weak. Papa. I'm tired. Stay with me, my daughter, Okoro whispered. Just hold on. But he didn't know, the spirit had called for backup. And something far more dangerous was coming before dawn. Okoro sat in the darkness, holding Chioma's cold hand. The lamp had gone out. The air felt thick, heavy, like smoke without fire. Shadows danced across the mud walls, though there was no light. Chioma lay on the raffia mat, silent, her chest rising and falling slowly. Her body twitched now and then, as if something inside her was fighting to stay. Okoro could still hear it. The crawling. Something moved along the wall behind him, then across the ceiling. He froze. His mouth dry. His breath shallow. Suddenly, a whisper came from the far end of the room. A voice, soft and slow, "We are not done." He jumped. "Who's there?" he shouted, reaching for the Bible. No answer. Just the creaking of bamboo roofing. He held the Bible tightly to his chest and crawled to where Chioma lay. "I will not let you take her," he said aloud, shaking, even though his voice was weak. "I will fight you with everything I have." Then he felt it. A cold hand touched the back of his neck. He turned sharply, but no one was there. Then, Chioma's voice. Low. Different. "Papa, why are you afraid? You know me, don't you?" Okoro looked at her. Her face had changed. Her skin was paler. Her nose looked thinner. Her voice wasn't her voice. "You're not my daughter," he whispered. Chioma stood up slowly, her head tilted to one side, like a door. Her body moved in strange jerks, one step forward, one step sideways, arms hanging loose. Okoro backed away. "Chioma. Leave her alone." She laughed, a dry, wicked sound. "She belongs to us now. You gave her to us the moment you touched the sacred tree." Okoro remembered the carving on the palm tree. That red-eyed face. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "I didn't know." Chioma walked to the wall and began to draw with her fingers, strange signs, like claws scratching symbols into the mud. Then her fingers bled. Still, she continued. Okoro ran and held her, but her strength was like 10 men. She threw him across the room with one hand. He hit the wall hard, groaning in pain. Chioma turned. Her eyes were glowing. But not red this time. Blue. Okoro gasped. He crawled to the corner and grabbed the red-tied cowrie Mama Nena had given him. He whispered, "Please, Chioma, if there's still a part of you in there, fight it, please." He placed the cowrie under her feet. Chioma screamed, louder than before. She grabbed her head and shouted, "Papa, it's burning me. Papa. It's too hot." He ran to her, held her, and began to pray again, louder this time. Suddenly, the wind stopped. The room became still. Chioma collapsed. Silence. Okoro held her close. "Chioma, are you okay? Please, talk to me." Her breathing was slow. Then, she whispered, It left, but not for long." Okoro looked up. And there, written on the wall in blood, were the words, "We will return at the full moon." The writing on the wall glowed faintly, even though there was no light in the room. Okoro sat still on the ground, holding Chioma in his arms. His body was weak. His mind was heavy. But he couldn't stop shaking. "We will return at the full moon." He looked up through the hole in the roof. The sky was already beginning to change. The full moon was only a few nights away. Chioma lay in his arms, eyes closed. Her breathing was shallow but steady. Her skin was cold like river water at dawn. Okoro whispered, "You will not take her. Never. Even if it cost me my life." As morning came, roosters crowed in the distance. The village began to wake up. Children ran to fetch water. Women opened their market sheds. Life continued outside like nothing was wrong. But inside Okoro's compound, a storm was building. He carried Chioma gently and placed her on her raffia mat. Then he covered the bloody symbols on the wall with a wrapper. He didn't want anyone to see it, not yet. Not until he understood more. Later that morning, he returned to Mama Nena. She was already waiting outside her shrine, holding her staff. Her eyes were red and tired, as if she had seen something in her dreams. Okoro didn't need to speak. She already knew. The spirit is stubborn, she said. It has tasted her soul. It will return. Okoro knelt before her. What do I do now? I've done everything you said. Mama Nena looked toward the sky. The full moon is in 3 nights. If the spirit returns fully by then, and you're not ready, Chioma will be lost forever. Then teach me, he begged. I will do anything. Mama Nene nodded slowly. Then come with me. She took him into the dark room at the back of her hut. It was filled with ancient objects, bones, feathers, skulls of animals, black clay pots with ash inside. She pulled out a large goatskin scroll and unrolled it on the floor. It had drawings of strange creatures, half human, half shadow, with eyes of fire and symbols written in Sibidi, the old language of secrets. This is what you fight, she said. The Ekwensu clan. Spirits of greed, jealousy, and broken promises. That tree you tapped was planted during the slave days. It was cursed by a priest who was buried alive beneath it. Okoro's mouth dropped. Why didn't anyone warn me? Because that tree was forgotten. Until your foot woke it up. She gave him 3 new items. A chain made of kola nuts, soaked in palm oil and tied with snail shell. A mirror, covered in black cloth. A dried lizard, tied by the tail with red thread. These are not ordinary items, she warned. On the night of the full moon, you must use them during the final ritual. But it will be painful. And if your heart is weak, it may claim you too. Okoro nodded. I don't care. I will fight. He returned home that evening with the items hidden in his wrapper. Chioma was still lying on the mat, eyes closed. But now she was talking in her sleep. Mama, don't leave me, the fire is too hot, they are pulling me. Okoro sat beside her. He placed the mirror and lizard near her head and began to sing softly, the lullaby Adebi used to sing to her as a baby. Sleep, my child, the moon is kind, let the wind carry your dreams. Her body relaxed. For the first time in days, she smiled faintly. But then, her hand moved. She pointed to the door. Okoro turned. Standing outside, was a young boy. No shirt. No shoes. Just white eyes. He said nothing. And then he disappeared. Okoro rushed outside. The boy was gone. Not a single footprint on the sand. Just silence. Even the wind had stopped moving. He walked slowly to the gate, looking left and right. Nothing. Then he heard a soft sound behind him, like feet dragging on the floor. He turned quickly. Chioma was standing at the door. She had walked out on her own. Chioma, he gasped. You're awake. She didn't answer. She just looked at him. Her eyes were not white, not red, but glassy. Like she wasn't fully there. Okoro walked to her slowly. Chioma, say something. She opened her mouth. But no words came out. Her lips moved, but there was no voice. She tried again. Nothing. Okoro grabbed her shoulders. Chioma. Talk to me. What is happening? She looked confused, then suddenly afraid. She pointed at her throat. Then her chest. Then she fell to the ground and began to burn the sand with her fist. Okoro cried out. No. No, no, no. Not again. He carried her inside, laid her on the mat, and placed the kola nut chain around her neck, just like Mama Nena instructed. Then he covered her with his wrapper and sat beside her, breathing hard. That night, he returned to Mama Nena for the last time before the full moon. She was sitting outside her hut with a burning pot of herbs. Her face looked darker than usual, almost grey. "Chioma can't speak anymore," Okoro said. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Mama Nena sighed deeply. The spirit is silencing her, preparing her soul for the final taking. Okoro fell to his knees. "Mama, please. Help me. I will give anything. My money, my blood, even my own soul. Just save her." Mama Nena's eyes watered. She looked away for a moment. "Don't say those words carelessly, Okoro. The spirits are listening." She walked into her hut and returned with a clay jar, tied with black cloth. "This is the final item," she said. "Inside this jar is the shadow catcher. It's very old. You will use it during the full moon when the spirit returns." Okoro took it with both hands. It was heavy and cold. She continued, "When the spirit enters, you must look into Chioma's eyes. If her real soul is still there, you'll see her. If not, it means the spirit has won." "What do I do then?" Okoro asked, afraid of the answer. Mama Nena lowered her voice. "Then, you must open the jar and pour its ashes into her mouth. It will force the spirit out. But if Chioma is still inside, it will burn her too." Okoro's lips trembled. "You mean I could kill my own daughter?" She nodded slowly. "That's why this battle is not just spiritual, Okoro. It is of love and sacrifice." As he left the hut, the night sky was covered in thick clouds. Thunder rumbled from a far distance. Even the crickets had stopped chirping. At home, Chioma was sitting upright. She didn't look like she had been sick. Her hair was neat. Her skin was glowing strangely. She smiled when she saw him. But he knew that smile by now. That was not his daughter. Then, from behind her, the boy appeared again. Standing in the shadow. No shirt. No voice. Just pointing at Okoro. And smiling. Okoro could not sleep. He sat by the door of the hut, his eyes fixed on Chioma. She lay on the mat, smiling in her sleep. But it was not a peaceful smile. It was the kind of smile that made your stomach turn. Like someone was pretending to be happy, but hiding something evil underneath. The white-eyed boy had vanished again. But Okoro knew he would return. The clay jar, the shadow catcher, sat on the wooden stool beside him. Mama Nena warned, "If you open it at the wrong time, both of you may never return." His hand shook as he picked it up. He whispered to himself, "God, are you still with me?" Suddenly, Chioma sat up. Her eyes were open wide. No emotion. No fear. She looked directly at him. Then she spoke, with two voices at once. One was hers. The other was deep, old, and cold. "Tomorrow, we rise," the voices said together. Okoro stood up, his heart pounding. "Chioma, please, fight it. Don't let them win." But the girl only tilted her head and laughed. The laugh echoed unnaturally, bouncing off the mud walls like a bouncing drum. Then she fell back and slept. Okoro stayed awake till dawn. As the rooster crowed, he stood and stepped out of the hut. He needed air. His head was heavy. His chest felt like it was carrying stones. That's when he saw it. The village shrine, the sacred place of Ova, had been destroyed. The ancient wooden statue was broken in half. Feathers scattered. The white chalk circles drawn on the ground were smushed. Villagers began to gather, whispering, "Who did this? Who has angered the spirits? Oh, this is a bad sign." Okoro stepped back, his hands trembling. He knew the truth. The spirit inside Chioma was growing stronger. And it had begun to attack the village too. Mama Nena arrived moments later. Her face was dark with fear. She walked straight to Okoro and whispered, "Tonight, we must finish it." He nodded. But his legs felt weak. Back at the hut, Chioma was awake again. This time, she spoke normally, in her own voice. "Papa," she said softly, "am I going to die?" Okoro's heart broke. He knelt beside her. "No, Chioma. Never. You will live. I promise." She held his hand tightly. "I saw Mama in my dream last night. She told me to hold on. But it's hard, Papa. It's so hard." Tears filled his eyes. "You are strong, my daughter. You are my lioness." That night, Okoro set everything in place. The mirror. The lizard. The kola nut chain. The cowrie. And the shadow catcher jar. Mama Nena entered the hut in silence. She was dressed in full spiritual regalia, red and black wrapper, beads, white chalk on her face, and holding her staff. She looked at Chioma and said, "The full moon rises in minutes. When it begins, we must not stop." Okoro nodded. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the hut. The window flew open. And Chioma's body rose into the air. Eyes open. Mouth wide, she screamed, but her voice was not her own. The spirit had arrived. And the battle had begun. Chioma floated in the air, her wrapper hanging like a flag in the wind. Her eyes glowed white. Her fingers stretched unnaturally. Her mouth hung open, but her face showed no pain, only blankness. A deep voice thundered from inside her, "I warned you, Okoro, yet you called for war." Mama Nena stood tall, staff in hand. She shouted, "We are not afraid of you, Ekwensu. You are not the owner of this child. Return to your darkness." The ground shook. The lamp blew out. Only the moonlight from the open roof lit the room. It was round. Full. Pale. Watching. Okoro began to chant, holding tightly to the shadow catcher jar. His voice trembled, but he didn't stop. "Chioma, if you can hear me, come back. Fight for me. Fight for us." Chioma suddenly dropped from the air, bam, flat on the ground. She started crawling backwards, her head bent unnaturally. Then she laughed. Her voice shifted again, like a man and woman speaking at the same time. "Open the jar, Okoro," she hissed. "Let's see if your heart is strong enough." Mama Nene poured a line of white chalk around Chioma. She placed the mirror at her head, the lizard at her feet, and the kola nut chain around her neck. Then she knelt and began her incantations. "Spirit of the ancestors, rise. Protect this innocent soul. Let no evil remain in this house." Chioma's body began to jerk violently. She screamed. Her skin turned dark. Then pale. Then normal again. Then suddenly, Chioma's real voice broke through. "Papa," she cried. "Help me. I'm still here. Don't let it win." Okoro's heart broke. He grabbed the clay jar with both hands. His fingers shook. Mama Nene shouted, "Now, Okoro. Now." He pulled the black cloth off. The room went cold instantly. The wind rushed in and circled the hut. The flames outside the house died. Even the stars disappeared. Inside the jar was ash. Thick. Black. Dusty. It moved on its own. Chioma screamed again. "Papa, it's burning. Don't do it. Please." Then the spirit's voice returned. "Who? That is not your daughter speaking. She's already mine." Okoro froze. Sweat poured from his forehead. He looked at Chioma's face. Her eyes were full of tears. Her lips trembled. He saw something. In her eyes. A small reflection. Of her, as a baby. Lying on his chest. Laughing. Happy. He whispered, "It's really you." Then, he poured the ashes into her mouth. Chioma screamed louder than ever before. Her body lifted again. Her arms flailed. Her legs kicked. The hut itself shook like a tree in a storm. Mama Nena held her staff to the ground. "Hold her, Okoro. Don't let her go." Okoro jumped on top of his daughter and held her tightly. "I'm here. I'm not leaving you. You are mine." The scream turned into a howl. The howl into a roar. The roar into silence. Chioma stopped moving. Her body dropped like a sack of yam. Still. Cold. Quiet. Okoro held his breath. Mama Nena whispered, "Chioma, speak." Silence. "Chioma," he whispered. She did not answer. He touched her cheek. "Chioma, please." Then, she blinked. And whispered, "Papa. I'm here." But before he could smile, the white-eyed boy stepped into the hut again. And this time, he spoke. "She may be free, but you are not." The boy's voice echoed like a cold drumbeat. "She may be free, but you are not." Okoro turned slowly, still kneeling beside Chioma. The white-eyed boy stepped forward from the shadows. His feet did not make a sound. His body looked human, but there was no life in his eyes. Mama Nena stood and pointed her staff. "Leave this place. Your mission is complete. The girl is no longer yours." But the boy smiled, a dry, thin smile. He looked at Okoro. "You made a promise under the cursed tree," he said. "Now the spirits demand their payment." Okoro stood, shaking. "I didn't make any promise," the boy's voice deepened. "The moment you touched the carving, you agreed. Now, the girl is saved. But someone else must take her place." Chioma looked up weakly. "Papa, what is he saying?" Tears rolled down Okoro's cheeks. "Nothing, my child. It's nothing." The boy walked forward and stopped beside the shadow catcher jar. He picked it up and sniffed the mouth. "Very old, very powerful," he said. He looked into Okoro's eyes. "You are the one they want?" Okoro turned to Mama Nena. "Is this true?" Her face dropped. She didn't speak. He turned back to the boy. "If I go, will she be safe?" "Yes," the boy said. "The curse will be broken. The spirit will not return again. Her life will continue. But yours must end." Okoro closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. Then, he knelt. He turned to Chioma and smiled gently. "My child, don't cry. A good father protects his daughter, even when it costs him everything." Chioma burst into tears. "No. Papa, no. Please. I just got you back." Okoro touched her cheek. "You must leave. You must tell others what happened. And never let anyone climb that tree again." He stood and walked to the boy. "I'm ready," he said. The boy nodded. "Follow me." Mama Nena raised her staff. "Okoro, wait. There may still be another way." But Okoro shook his head. "This is the way." He looked back one last time at Chioma. "I love you, my lioness," he said. Then he stepped outside. The moonlight was pale. The boy walked ahead, barefoot. Okoro followed. As they reached the edge of the bush, the boy turned and smiled again. His body began to fade into shadow. So did Okoro's. His footsteps vanished. The wind blew gently through the trees. Then, silence. Back at the hut, Chioma held Mama Nena and cried like a baby. He was gone. Her father, her hero, had given everything to save her. but his story was not forgotten. I hope the story was enjoyable to you. If so, do give the video a like. Tell your loved ones and friends about it. Don't forget to leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell for more captivating stories like this one. Goodbye.